Who's that?
Well, just one more point. I mean, obviously the middle way is grow sustainably, but the fact is investors don't care about how you grow. They just care about growth and returns. So
I just take one quick stab. I think Partha is the right person to answer it. But my quick stab at it would be that fundamentally, for the people who haven't experienced quality of life like in India, you have to provide them with that kind of growth. It's a humanitarian thing to do. So their consumption is going to increase, and I think we owe it to them. But they have to grow, as I'm sure you know, responsibly in terms of doing frugal kind of things. Second thing is, all this growth we're talking about, right, is a lot of it is transformation. It's not really adding on to the stack, but it's changing the stack. So it is basically B instead of A. And the most important thing from Adam Smith, Darwin perspective, right, is the transformation is Darwin. It's adaptation, survival of the fittest. But where Adam Smith comes in is to say that all of it is creating dramatic changes in the impact on the planet because they're increasing productivity of everything. And I think by adding a fourth factor of production and saying, did all the on-demand food and all the on-demand e-commerce create lesser carbon footprint, will definitely come, and you will see that this may be the digital economy will actually reduce carbon footprint if it's done in that kind of fashion.
So, yeah, so only one. Yeah.
We got thrown out.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, no. Just one thing, that if India has to grow at 7% or 9% GDP and become, the destined number one, there is no option to not having growth. So growth is, you can always say growth on whatever growth you require in order to become that kind of a thing. So growth is going to be a big important factor. Environmental concern is about future. So you cannot miss that either. Okay, so attend both.
Thank you. One more question, one last question, please. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Meenakshi. I'm in advertising. I'm just seeing in a lot of cities, too many companies coming up, too many startups, too many entrepreneurs. Is it going to be chaos, or who will be the consumer? And so many big companies and small companies, will there be too much of competition and consumer problems?
Mithun. And
Could you repeat that?
I'm saying.
It was a little chaotic.
Okay. I'm just saying that there are too many established players in the market, and there are too many startups coming up, and a lot of entrepreneurs. So will there be a confusion between what to consume, where to go, and too much of competition between big players and small players and all this?
It's not a bad thing, right, for a consumer. I presume you're a consumer. I mean, you have more choices, means more discounts, means, better pricing, better quality of service. I think online today is providing, in general, at least I feel that, has uplifted the quality of service in India significantly from what we were used to expecting for a very, very long period of time. Even 5 years back, my own experience of having bought a Samsung refrigerator, and then when they had somebody in my house in 48 hours to rectify it, it felt like outstanding. I mean, in 48 hours somebody came and they were ready to do it. And I thought Samsung was the ultimate thing. Today you get answers, you tweet a question, you get an answer back in like 3 minutes or 30 seconds, right? And all of this has impacts. Yes, some businesses will fall along the line, and some businesses will really succeed on that part. So, but I don't see any reason. I think a bloodbath is good. It's not a bad thing at all. And bloodbath doesn't happen in every category. There are categories which are going to be winner takes all category. It is going to be bloodbath. You will see that in the like Ola, Uber, and taxi for sure. Only two could have survived, because if you don't have 40% market share, you just cannot survive in a category like that. And that's been the case even in taxis otherwise. If you looked at Bangalore as a city and looked at taxi services, possibly two taxi services were doing the best job, and there was nobody else doing anything else. The third and fourth didn't even exist really. If you looked at fashion, for example, or jewelry, for example, nobody has more than 3 or 4% market share, and thus everybody will survive. It's a question of at what scale will they survive. So I don't think it will create a bloodbath. It might create a bloodbath at the investor level just because they think somebody might have backed a lot more than it should have been. But I think that's fine, as the SME platform also says that they have the ability to take that risk. And so that's why, I mean, they're willfully taking that risk, saying that, one of these is going to be 10x and some of these might just fall by the way. So I don't think bloodbath's unplanned phenomena. It's going to be almost like a planned thing.
Can I add to that? See, we are at a period of time what we call the Internet of Things happening, right? We're actually in a good place for startups to be. See, when you talk about even Moore's Law, right? I mean, you think about it, at one point of time, say, for example, in 1985, when you talk about Craig's supercomputer, the second version of it, it was $32 million. Not accessible. But, you had different startups, different people trying out, and you have in 2011 an iPad 2, which does, in rough benchmarking terms, similar things for $500. So it kind of makes things so much more accessible. Then you have this great network of information going on there. See, at one point of time, creating content was difficult and very expensive, but now you're getting people involved in creating content. So you're improving the ecosystem. And then you have the whole, the network services. You have products like social media, where you have, for a company, it gets better marketing, better customer relationship, and it creates a transparency and a responsibility to service your customers better. So there are so many things. Crowdfunding, when you talk about Kickstarter, Indigo, there are so many of these things which are good that I don't think it's a bloodbath, but what will work are the ones which are great. I mean, we've discussed this, right? Great growth potential will work. And it's good for the consumers because it has to evolve. I mean, you look at Web 1.0 and look at what it is today. I mean, it has evolved for the betterment of consumers and also for the environment, as we talked about.
Can I just say one thing? I just want to close with one remark. I come from a generation where the first thing we did when we went abroad to foreign, that is, basically we drank a canned Coke because we couldn't get Coke in India. I'm so delighted that India has come to the point we're worried about too many choices. So it's great for India, if you ask me.
Thank you, everybody. We just have a couple of important announcements. First thing, we need to give out a token of appreciation. So I invite the YI chair of Bangalore, George, and the co-chair Rajesh to come up on the stage. We'll start off with Mr. George. Big round of applause. Thank you so much. Mr. Partha Sasi, thank you sir so much. Coming down from Bombay and heading back today. Thanks for your time. Mr. Srinivasan, thank you sir. Thanks for your time. And last but not the least, the star of the show, Vijay. Thank you, Vijay. So just one more important announcement before we start the food. So what comes before main course? We are all hungry, waiting for lunch. What comes before a main course? It's an app. So I now request Jayanta, who is the head of branding and communication for YI, to make the important announcement.
Guys, good afternoon. As Utsav said, this is an appetizer before the lunch. And my name is Jayantra. I head the branding and communications vertical for YI nationally. So before I tell you what the announcement is, let me tell you it's a digital gift. Okay, it's something that you're going to like. So I've been in YI for 9 years, and many times when I come for this wonderful kind of events, like today, I go back, then I remember I met this great gentleman from Bhopal, and this person from Bhubaneswar, and this, this women entrepreneur from Cochin. And I want to call them, and I can't, because I don't have the details, as simple as that. Sometimes I am in Bangalore, and I want to catch up with George, and I don't know what his number is. So it's a constant problem we have. Though YI is a family, we're not digitally connected. So one of the mandates this year from the communication vertical was to bring out a YI-owned mobile app for all the 2,000 plus members across 38 chapters. I'm glad to inform you guys, that the app in the beta stage is ready, and we have it on Google Play Store. We are rolling it out on the Android platform. You can download it. It is ready for 32 of the 38 chapters. You can download it by searching for Young Indians. I'll repeat that. The beta app for YI National is available on Android Play Store by searching for Young Indians. You can log in using your email ID, and the password for now is set as YI National. You can log in and change your password. So the username is your email ID that you have used in YI, and the password is YI National. So this is an amazing platform for all of us across 38 chapters to be connected. And we welcome your feedback. Please use it to look up your chapter details, inter-chapter events, RSVP to events, member details, GC, EC, even MOM as well, minutes of the meeting as well. So this is just an announcement of a beta app release. You will officially get more information on email as well. So thank you very much, Bangalore, for giving me this slot to inform about the national app release. And I look forward to feedback. Please, all of you, download the app. I believe there are 230 YI registered members here of the 400 plus attendees. So I'm expecting at least 230 downloads before today. Okay, so that's my request. Thanks, everybody.
So one final thing, as you can see up on the screen, this is a very impromptu, spontaneous idea why Bangalore has come up with. It's has an idea on our campaign. So anyone here, after lunch we have some students coming in and pitching their ideas to all of us. But anyone else here in the audience, members or whoever it is, if you have an idea, you can register at the stall outside, and you will be given 2 minutes to pitch your idea in the second part. So please make use of the opportunity. With that, I just invite Ravi on stage. Thank you very much.
So friends, I'm here not to forget the sponsors. We have our main sponsor, Karur Vaishya Bank. Please put your hands together. We need to thank them. We at CIIY would like to thank Karur Vaishya Bank, Angler, mobile application partner, and life insurance partners Bharti AXA, health insurance partner Religare, communication partner City, Bank Account. We also have Yes Bank, Syndicate Bank, and YouStart partners are IIM Bangalore, NSR Cell, Axelon, Sunstone Capital. We also have event partner, Formats, Origami, and also supported by Your Story. Thank you one and all. Please have your fun. Thank you.
In the next few minutes, we have the next event is the YouStart Finals. So just to give you a little bit background on YouStart, it's a student entrepreneurship challenge that we have been running over the last few days. We've invited entries from teams all over India, and we got something around 70 entries, and from that we went through 2 rounds of shortlisting, and we have identified the top 5 teams, and these 5 teams are presenting their business plans today. We have a very eminent jury to evaluate the 5 business plans, led by Mr. Gopal Srinivasan, Chairman and Managing Director, TVS Capital, Mr. Ganpati, who's the CEO of Axelor, Mr. Hari Hegde, Senior Vice President, Head of Operations at Wipro, Mr. Ravi Jagannath, CEO of YPay Cash, an angel investor and serial entrepreneur, Mr. Ravin Shastri, CEO of NudgeSpot, and also co-founder of Myntra. I think some of you have already seen Mr. Gopal Srinivasan and Mr. Ravin Shastri in the morning on stage. So big round of applause for the jury as well. I'd also like to take a moment to appreciate the partners we have had for YouStart. We've had a lot of support from them in conducting YouStart this year. There's IMB NSR cell, which is the incubation cell located at IIM Bangalore. We have Axelor, which is an accelerator from where, which is headed by Mr. Ganpati, who's on the jury today, based out of Bangalore. They take young startups and nurture them to grow that to the next level. We have Sunstone Capital, which is also a serial investor based out of Calcutta. They have in fact funded the first prize today for YouStart. And we also have Incube, which is an incubator based out of Coimbatore. It's a boutique fund that is designed intensive accelerator with an academic partnership. The fund is also drawing inspiration from Mr. Dornadola Srinivas. So having done that initial introduction, I'd like to invite the first team to come on stage and present their business plan. The first team on stage is Tiny Steps from IIM Trichy. Please.
Sing like no one is listening. Love like you've never been heard before. Dance like no one's watching. Well, it's a really good quote, completely irrelevant to what we're going to present here, but still it's a good quote. We are hoping that you'll be as generous with your scoring as you were with your lunch. So we are Team Tiny Steps from IIM Trichy, and without further ado, we bring to you our business plan. So we're going to start off with a look at our business plan, followed by a peek at a market opportunity, a gander at a business model, finally the financials, and then a competitor analysis. So why Tiny Steps? How Tiny Steps? Turns out one of our teammates was traveling in the bus, caught in traffic, completely deprived of all sorts of entertainment. She happened to overhear a couple of parents talking about expenses incurred for their infant. So it turns out we were interested, we came back, dug a little deeper, and we found out we can end up spending about 80,000 rupees over a course of a couple of years. So it's shocking, but a true story. Even if you purchase a couple of these products alone, you can end up spending a huge amount of money. So this is just the first part of the problem. Even though you spend so much, you use it only for a very short amount of time. Most of the time, only about 6 months, which is completely unfair. This is the second problem. And finally, the pain doesn't end there. What are you going to do with these products after you have finished using them? There's no place to store, and it's very hard to get rid of. So these were the problems that we are trying to help our customers solve. So then we thought, why buy when you can rent? So Tiny Steps helps you to meet all your furniture needs by renting out these furnitures for your infants from the ages 0 to 3. So what are the market opportunities? When it comes to the first offering, the business model of baby safety, baby equipment rental is very popular in the West, and Indian people are getting more acclimated to renting of products. So we feel with the increased westernization, people will be more acceptable to this model, to adopting this model. Next, with the party rentals, the renting of inflated party games is not a very available thing as such. There are no established competitors within this segment. And finally, with baby-proofing equipment, the number of players providing this particular service and these equipments are very few. And baby-proofing audits is an untapped market in our country. So over to Archana for the rest of the presentation.
So now let's take a look at the potential customers. So this is basically where money is going to come from. So we're going to look at Tier 1 tourists as well as Tier 2 customers. So in Tier 1, we see that there's an increasing number of working women. Many of you might not agree, but research shows that parents tend to spend more money on the kids when they feel like they're not spending enough time with them. So by providing rental of these products, we are basically trying to make these things affordable for their children. Now, tourists. So when tourists travel, with babies, they often need to carry a variety of baby gear. So what we are telling them is, you don't really have to carry this. What we will do is we will provide it for you. You can rent it, use it, and then give it back once you're done. So for this, we will tie up with hotels as well as travel agents. Now, in Tier 2 cities, what we have seen is that there is a lack of availability of branded baby equipment. So what we are doing is we are trying to get them to, we are trying to give them an opportunity to get these products by, of course, renting them. And it's something that also has a high aspiration value. Now, this is really the heart of our business model, how we are going to carry out the entire process. So we are going to start with the bulk procurement of equipment and furniture, and we are going to collect orders from our customers and provide these products to them, deliver it at their doorstep, and pick it from them when they're done using them, refurbish it, clean it, because when it comes to baby products, hygiene is plays a really big part. So, and then based on the life of the equipment, we will either rent it again or we will procure new equipment. Now, as the name of our company is Tiny Steps, we are going to do our launch phase in different steps. So, before we actually get into the market, we are planning to do pilots, proof of concepts, create a lot of buzz around the idea, because this is not a very popular idea in India yet. In our phase 1, we are planning to launch in Mumbai and Chennai. Mumbai has a large space constraint when it comes to apartments. So by renting furniture, parents can use this and give it back to us in order to optimize the space in their home. Now, Chennai has a large number of working population or IT population, so they will definitely go for a model like this. Now, that's a similar reason why we are going for Bangalore in phase 2. And Coimbatore and Ahmedabad are tier 2 cities with a high growth rate, so we're expecting this idea to fly there as well. So the initial investment for our project is about 2 crores, and we have estimated our customer base of about 0.5% of our target population.